All right. Got some notes here. And I've just prepared a bunch of photographs because I just thought I could do the talking bit. We don't need words up there. And so I've got some kind of photographs that are loosely associated to what we do. They're all taken in the space, so they're not that loosely associated, actually. Yeah, I started in the kitchen when I was about 15, started washing dishes, did that for years, and now I've got my own restaurant. So I've kind of done that really old school working your way up business. It's been tough, still is. So just under a year ago, my partner Shoshana and I decided we wanted to open something, and we've been adventuring all over the world. Like, we've seen so many different products, so many different projects, so many different kind of product producers and forms of agriculture and things to improve people's diets and all sorts, like you name it in food, like all the way around the world we've seen it. So we wanted to kind of start something, but we didn't know exactly what that was. But we knew we had to get it going. So actually what we did is we started a business with no business model and didn't really know where it was going. We took on this horrifically ugly space because it was cheap enough. And while we made it beautiful, we worked out what we were doing. So it's ours, and we wanted to create it in our image. We felt like the food businesses are, do you know, they're normally really prescriptive. It's like, what are you? Oh, we're a cafe. What does a cafe do? They sell coffee and muffins and tea. If you like, it might not be that good. A tea house sells tea, you know. Or a restaurant, what do you do? Oh, you're a fine dining restaurant. Oh, that means you've got a menu and a waiter and a tablecloth. And do you know, like, food's not like that. So we wanted to do something that was a bit more kind of us, a bit more all over the place, basically. So we began by arriving in Scotland and touring around with a microphone, interviewing people with interesting food memories, speaking to old folk, speaking to young folk, to farmers, to people that ran, you know, anything involved in quality food. Started by speaking to them, collecting all that kind of archive. Shoshana's also an anthropologist, so it came kind of from that angle. And slowly this idea of our space happened. So it's actually, now it's a kind of like art space, it's a part-time restaurant, it's, we're open as a restaurant 3 nights a week, so a lot of the chefy community, they're like, you know, like 3 nights a week, come on. But anyway, actually, a lot of the top end of food is all busy trying to work out how to make the working week sensible for chefs. Because chefs have a dreadful time. You work 90 hours a week in horrible conditions, it's humid, it's sweaty, it's aggressive, you burn each other for fun. But like, so the challenge was actually like how to make a business that can make money where we can also have a life. Like, we haven't done 15 years of training to then go and like work in a place that gives us no scope to go on holiday or come here or to do whatever it was. So we wanted to create a business like that. We also wanted it to incorporate arts and culture. We didn't want a space where it was like, oh, you're a cafe, you're a restaurant. So it's an artistic space. It's also like a perpetual kind of pop-up. We've got so many guest chefs coming through the doors like you would not believe. I don't know anyone else doing this. It's suicidal, probably. But we enjoy it, and there's a lot of benefits to be had. It's also a research hub. So we kind of took the best bits from a lot of other businesses we'd worked in or been part of. Like, I used to run Nordic Food Lab, which was kind of like a non-profit wing of Restaurant Noma in Copenhagen. Kind of technicalities of it are a bit different, but whatever. So we wanted to get that research element into it. So we applied for funding, actually. Applied to Creative Scotland, who told us in writing that food's not creative. And that was more motivating than almost anything else. And then who else? Oh, Community Food Fund, who said they wouldn't know how it would benefit producers. Anyway, so we just thought, well, hell, we'll start this thing. We don't care. Just put all our money on the line, and then we did a Kickstarter. So we asked for £10,000. Not very much money, but it was a lot to us. And we got that in 3 days, and then it went up to just over 17 in 2 weeks. And that enabled us to open not only like with the bare minimum, but also kind of get some extra fun gadgets and things like this, which make life a pleasure, like hand blenders, really avant-garde stuff. Yeah, we also do like consultancy stuff as well, like bits of recipe development, or if someone needs an idea taken further, like we can do that. Anyway, so I suppose basically like the crowdfunding was amazing for us. Basically, I'm going to talk about what we do, right? Because I think if I talk about how we innovate in our everyday lives, that's just too complex because we're always on our toes. Like basically, we're always playing catch up, and we've never done the same menu twice, so we're always innovating. But I suppose what I'm going to talk about is how we've created an environment that pushes us to always be on our toes. Yeah, just to give you an outline, now I'm halfway through. So anyway, we started with crowdfunding, right? That's great, right? Do it. Even if you've got tons of money, do it. Because now we've got a community backing, right? So now people want us to succeed. Now people feel like we exist because they invested. And with us, it's true. Like, we wouldn't be there if they hadn't. So that's amazing. And also, like, I think we're one of this new... we're like this new breed of business, which actually can only exist because of things like crowdfunding and social media. There's no chance that anyone would have invested in an idea that wasn't written down on paper with no business plan. But there was if we were able to go out there and be like, hi, it's us. And I think that's one of the really interesting things. I heard it talked about earlier on. I can't remember who now. But about how businesses are lasting less time and businesses are popping up much more faster. And that we're that one that popped up fast. So I think that's really interesting that we've been able to do that actually as a result of all this emerging technology. We've got no sponsors. Yeah, and basically, yeah. So why did we set out? So when we were traveling around, we went to see everything. We went to see everything from the kind of, the poshest Highland cows in the country, to Glasgow food banks, to really traditional stuff. And what we figured is that we wanted to do something that by putting food alongside other art forms, we'd basically be raising the perceived value of food. Not raising the price of food, but raising the perceived value. In Scotland, we've got like massive issues with public health and food and things like this. So we wanted to do something that made food more than just a source of fuel. And so we've done that by intentionally making the space like really interdisciplinary. I better remember to click through some photos. Yeah, basically it's an interdisciplinary food space. And we do serve dinner 3 nights a week. So we did it also, we wanted to make a space that was convivial. So we've only got 2 massive tables. Everyone sits down those tables. We wanted to cut the crap, right? We wanted to have like no fluff, no frills fine dining. Like, why is it that you can't get high quality food unless you pay all the extra stuff for like someone to pour your water for you? Like, I can pour my own water, I just want to eat good food. So we wanted to like make like no frills fine dining basically. We're intentionally uncooperative. So like all this like customer first, no. Like, we're in this life once. We want to make a business that works for us. We want to be interested. We want to be entertained. It's our business. It's not your business. You're a customer. You come pay us. So, and I think that we need that, because all this kind of customer first fluff means actually that then it's all so competitive that everyone's like, biting each other's toes off, and there's no one actually saying, no, but this is how we're going to provide you with the service that we provide. We provide the best food that we can at the price, and because we cut out all the rubbish, then we're able to do that. We don't have an a la carte menu. You come for dinner, you eat what you're given. If you don't like it, leave it. Like, if you're late for dinner, you miss the first course. That's fine. You're late. And you're still going to pay. And I think that's... It's the same like when you go to the theatre. It's odd, like, we have these kinds of, like... like boxes, we compartmentalise. It's like, when you go to the theatre, you don't expect them to wait. Why should we in the kitchen? So... basically, we put our foot down, and this is how we do it, and people like it. It's full. So, yeah, it's our model, and it keeps us creative. I'm going to talk about why it keeps us adaptable, like what it is that we're actually doing. We've never done the same menu twice, okay? Mostly because we're far too ADHD for that. So it just keeps on rolling. But the other thing is, when you're dealing with real high-quality food, there's no way to not be adaptive, right? So let's imagine I get some chervil in for the fish. Well, the chervil's not going to stay good very long. And if you want to get deliveries from quality producers, believe me, they don't do it every day. So you use the leaves one day, but then you come in the next day and you're going to use the stems for something else that looks pretty. And then you realize they've started to wilt because actually they were picked 2 days ago, not 1 as they should have been. Anyway, so it's constantly... it's responsive cooking. It's also like we deal with a lot of like wild things. Lots of wild mushrooms, wild plants, you know, like, well, you want to put wild mushrooms on the menu. Well, then it rains all week. What happens? Your mushrooms come in and they're soggy as all hell. Like, you definitely, like, you can't, if you want to deal with quality stuff, you can't replicate it the same day in, day out. Like when you go into a fast food joint and get your bit of something for the train or whatever. But that's what we love. That's what we love. And that's what keeps us in contact with nature, and that's what keeps our creative juices flowing. It also, like, gives us the capacity, like, when we were originally debating, like, what kind of model or what kind of thing to do, we've got quite a lot of experience in, like, new product development stuff for food companies. And I really feel that because we're constantly playing catch-up, because we're constantly trying to work out what to do because that thing's gone yellow, and oh, the fish just isn't up to scratch today, and oh, the mushrooms are all wet, how is it that we make something nice? And I think that's something that's really interesting then when we work with some of the bigger clients who we do work with, because we're used to being adaptable. We're used to trying to create something from a limited situation. And it's also, yeah, when we're doing this MPD stuff, because it's only me and my partner, then we can move quickly. Just hearing some of the other discussions here, a lot of you all are from a totally different world to me. Like, it's really, like, quite corporate. I find it a bit terrifying, like, I won't lie. You know, but I don't really know how it works. But I reckon if you have a good idea, you have to go and speak to a board, and then they have to go and speak to a board, and they have to bring it back and get it signed, and then you have to go to the other dude and get it stamped, and then, like, you come to us, we'll say yes, we'll give it a price, and we go. So that's kind of what we do. Anyway, so some of the other stuff that keeps us on our toes, for example, we'll invite a producer along. We'll be like, okay, we want to do a weekend on your products. And they'll be like, right, okay, so we'll work out a date. Well, the new lamb should be ready at that season. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so then they were like, okay, well, these are the bits of the lamb that we find it really difficult to shift. Let's do that. And it's for one weekend only, and you spend so much time and energy just working out this menu for this one-time only thing that happens. But it's brilliant. It's like painting a picture. You wouldn't want to paint the same picture twice. That's filling in the lines. You know, working with whiskey producers, like them coming in, us trying to pair things with what they make, winemakers' dinners, or with brewers. We also do workshops. We've set the space out to be a workshop space. So we have butter makers, you know, and then every time that we've kind of created this business so that every time someone comes in to teach the public something, we get to learn. And that was part of the aim as well. It's like, okay, well, we'd really just like to spend our whole lives in culinary school learning things from all of our idols. But instead what we've done is we've created a model that gets us paid for that. So you come, you pay the butter producer to show you how to make butter, we learn to make butter. And we're the ones that put it into practice, and you probably go home, make it once. But that's the reality, because actually that enables us to then learn, to keep moving. We've done that with butter, we've done that with bread, we've done that with butchery, with wild food. We roast our own coffee as a result of things like that, having coffee roasters come up and show us how to do it. We do it with food fermentation, like extended workshops for months and months with some people that want to know about that. Seaweeds, and in some way, excuse me, what we've done there in terms of like making all this stuff from scratch and making life exceedingly difficult for ourselves is create some kind of testing ground. So now actually we're now looking into our second business, which is exciting. And that's just coming directly out of one of the products that we've been making at the studio, and we've realized that it's profitable and people love it and they want more and they want it every day and no one ever says no. And do you know, and so actually in some way I think we've created a sort of a testing ground for these kinds of sort of future products in a way. Anyway, so it's our first birthday in 2 weeks' time. So I wanted to like sort of look back a little bit at some of the dishes or some of the guests that we've had, and some of the events that we've done that help us stay on our toes. So in 2 weeks' time, for example, we've got like sort of cocktail kings and zero wasters. We've got I don't know if you heard of a restaurant called Silo in Brighton, who's just won all like most sustainable restaurant in Britain and all this kind of stuff. Douglas McMaster, who's the chef there, is a legend. So he's coming up. We're having a big jam session, and we've got like 3 of the world's best bartenders who used to run this place, Artesian, in London. It was awarded World's Best Bar under their guidance 4 years running. 2 of them have been awarded World's Best Bartender. And we're doing like a pairing menu where we're doing a reverse pairing. So whereas normally you'd go in and you'd have the wine pairing, they're coming with the cocktail vision, and then we're having a big jam session to try and pair the food back from the booze. Also doing a non-alcoholic cocktail menu as well, keeping things interesting. No one else in Edinburgh is doing anything like this. That's Wild Tended. It's kind of massive jam session. That's for our birthday. We want that collaborative energy. You know, we want to invite everyone in. It's actually, we had all these guys lined up, all these booze masters, and then Douglas called us up. He was like, "Hey, what's happening? I want to come too." Brilliant, cool. Let's get him up. Everyone stays at the house, and if need be, on the floor, and everyone mucks in. And I think what we've somehow managed to create is some sort of, I think, like people term it like would you call it a sharing economy, where actually people aren't coming to us because we're going to get them rich. We're not going to get them famous either. Like, we've got a social media following, but it's, do you know, relatively small, a few thousands here and there. But the people come because what we're doing is real. People come because what we're doing is totally unpretentious, is totally passion-driven, and we're all right at it. We've also got, for example, there was, Netflix is here somewhere, and we've got Anna Roz, who's one of the chefs who's been like really catapulted into fame by the Chef's Table series. Why does she come? Because we say, come. Do you want to come? Do you want to cook with Scottish produce? Do you want to, come? And she can come and cook Chinese food if she wants. Like, that's totally okay. We're totally game for that. And I think that's something really, really refreshing for people that, like, we just don't care. It's just got to be good. You know, it's just got to be good. But if your granny wants to come cook Thai food, let's do it. You know. Last weekend we had Esben Hombo Bang. It's the world's youngest 3 Michelin star chef. He came over from Oslo, from Maimo. I can't remember, what does it cost? The menu, I think, cost 2,600 kroner over there. So we flew him and his sous chef over and then offered the menu for 42 quid. Why? because we can, because we're fun, because we want to make it accessible, because we want to be subversive like that, and it's subversive of him even to agree to do it. Why on earth would a 3 Michelin star chef come and cook in some like random cafe on a trunk road into Edinburgh? Because we're doing something with energy, we're doing something real, we're doing something ourselves, and people recognise that. I think like like we don't even have a 3 Michelin restaurant in Scotland. It's like, yeah, anyway. We're not going to be the first one either, I'll tell you that for nothing. Yeah, because you can pour your own water. So why do they come? Yeah, that was my next little title. Why do they come? Like, why would you do that? I suppose, like, why would you do anything? Like, I think a lot of people, they feel like really tied into their kind of brand and their idea. Like Esben, we were out drinking, surprisingly enough, after service on Saturday night. He said, the reason I came, Ben, is because you said I can do whatever I want. And I think that is so crucial. Like, people are so tied into, like, oh, they have to do their Nordic thing, put dill on everything, but actually, it's so refreshing to be able to come and do what you want. And that's why they love it. Empathy. I wrote empathy. Someone was talking about empathy earlier on. Empathy, that's a good thing. We have a lot of empathy. So we also we have a talk, like all the chefs take the dishes to the tables, right? So we've got these 2 big tables. We don't have waiting staff. Don't believe in that either. All the chefs spend all day cooking, and then we take the dishes to the diners. And I think that's also a really interesting thing because it enables us to come in direct contact with the final user of the product, to use your lingo, right? These are vagina biscuits? Because we can. Like, and I took them out, and the woman, I served them to this very dry-looking woman, there's no pun intended, and she was like, we've been having a lot of fun today. I said, well, they were made by a woman. And anyway, that shut her up. That's egg dish on a boob bowl. That's a boob. All the boobs are different, as boobs are. Again, made by a woman, so it's okay. Getting all sorts of trouble. Anyway, that was from a great fun thing we did with the chef Brandon Boutsley. And his wife, Laura Higgins, and they came over, and we decided randomly, like, oh, well, we'd all been, like, looking at this book. Salvador Dali wrote a cookbook called the Dîner de Gala, who was his muse. And so we've been looking at this cookbook for ages, trying to, like, wanting to do something about that, but it cost, like, £3,000. And then, like, a week before we did the event, Tashin republished it. So then we were able to get a copy and base everything actually on reality, which is, a few of these photos have been from that night. But I think also, like, we're cooking, that's straight out the book. We cook from ideas a lot as well. I think that's something interesting. So, often starting from some kind of abstract concept. Like, so we've done these things with these poets. We've got a Saltire Prize winning poet, Ryan Van Winkle, who's a great friend, and one of the best sort of well-known poets in Edinburgh. And so he brings in a lot of the kind of the talent, emerging talent, or actually not like the well and truly emerged talent of Scotland. And what we've done now 3 of these nights where the poets send us the poems, a bunch of poems, and then we read through them and we decide one of the poems that we're going to make dishes in response to. And then on the night, we get the poets to read some of the poems, and then we cook dishes that are directly in answer to one of their poems. And I think actually we kind of did it without realizing, but then we've realized since that that's actually something although it sounds like it's walking this teetering knife edge of pretentiousness, it's actually something which is hugely culturally relevant to Scotland. Like, we have this huge tradition of the ceilidh, which isn't about dancing around. It's actually originally about all coming together and everyone bringing a story, bringing a poem. It's about that conviviality of dining together, playing music together. And so we've got Burns Night, for example, which is this night where it's like an overly ritualized version of food and poetry together. But now we're actually giving that whole thing a new sort of cultural life, and where it's living culture instead of just like this kind of regurgitated ritual. I'm sure Rabbi Burns would love to come along, you know. And I think that the poets themselves, they love it. You know, I spoke to one, she was like, oh my God, I was dreading this, but you totally got it. And I think that's one of the amazing things, because we do dedicate ourselves enough time to develop dishes in response to these poems, then we're able to really come up with dishes that maybe the flavors or the textures, the look of it, whatever it is, sometimes it's pictorial, sometimes it's more abstract, sometimes it's just the feel of the whole thing, somehow goes along with the poems. We also had Stephen Marks, who's a philosophy teacher at the university, coming along and doing some readings, some philosophical readings, starting with, well, we did it on David Hume's birthday. David Hume's an Edinburgh boy. You know, like, we did some stuff with him again, like, and it does walk this terrible, pretentious kind of edge, but actually it works. Anyway, I wanted to end there just with one of the philosophies that Stephen brought along on that night, which is bad cooking, it's a quote from Nietzsche, which is bad cooking and the complete absence of reason in the kitchen have caused the longest delays and the worst damage to the development of humanity. Even today, things are hardly better. So that's from Nietzsche, and we had to cook in response to that. So we bought a tinning machine, filled up a little tinning machine with something incredibly luxurious, and then gave everyone plastic spoons. But anyway, in response to that quote, I suppose it's a matter of, if you do need someone to collaborate with, if you need someone who does have that reason, that cooking ability, we're here, and I just wanted to extend a open hand, open arms to anyone. We're into collaboration, reach out, like, we're here, hopefully not going anywhere too quickly. So yeah, cheers very much.